Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special live episode of PlayitRight TV. I'm Dyan Castillejo with Quinito, Henson. Quinito, I know you have a little bit of a hoarse voice, but you couldn't pass up this opportunity to speak to our very special guest about so many issues concerning Philippine sports.
Thanks,
Uh,
Dan, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year. Wow.
Actually,
It's been a
namamaos nga tayo ngayon. Ipagpasensya na po ako at medyo matindi itong cold natin. But just the same, as Diane said, we are here to give you the best, the greatest, and the latest in Philippine sports. And that's why we've got one special guest for you. And Diane?
Yeah, very special guest tonight. We're so thankful that he could join us live. None other than the president of the Philippine Olympic Committee. We have so many things to ask him. Welcome to PlayitRight TV, Congressman Bambol Tolentino. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening po, Kong.
Salamat po.
Thank you so much for your time. All right, so we're going to start with the top of the sports news, and that is, of course, the issue concerning EJ Obiena. So many things have happened. Today, the latest, the PATAFA has deferred its administrative decision to expel EJ from the national team. They're saying that they're going to give it, I think, about 2 weeks after the PSC made its statement asking the PATAFA to give him a window to appeal, and I think this is what they're doing. And well, talking about the PSC statement yesterday, Sir Bambo, one of the things that it said was that, well, that EJ had to complete his liquidation. They acknowledged that this is a liquidation issue. And actually, EJ has just answered that just not too long ago and said that he has actually already sent in all the documents, minus the contract of Petrov with the PATAFA, which I think he's asking for them to be taken from the PATAFA. One request of the PSC, Congressman Bambol, is that, and I will quote, they are asking the POC to be the bridge between PATAFA and Obiena and reconsider your decision in making Philip Wico, the president of PATAFA, persona non grata. Your reaction to this, sir?
Yes, I've read that statement from PSC. Even though we're not under PSC, even though maybe for me there's wrong wordings on that statement, that demanding us PSC to do this and to do that. Of course, as a sportsman, we can think about it, but first, kung ang main issue is the liquidation, labas na kami doon. Labas na ang POC doon.
Mm-hmm.
Since that decision was approved by the executive board, then there's a process. There will be a ratification from the General Assembly. So at this point, the General Assembly will decide. So whether
that's with regards to the considering Mr. Wico's persona non grata, you're supposed to ratify that in your General Assembly on January 13, correct?
Yeah, January 12, I think.
12, sorry, yeah.
January 12. So we just acted on the complaint of EJ against Mr. Wico. So with regards to the liquidation issues, meron palang magli-liquidate, so may window pa. So it's up to them. Labas na kami doon. Doon lang kami sa main issue ng POC and Mr. Wico and EJ on the complaint regarding the behavior of Mr. Wico, which was referred to the ethics committee. Then the complaint was filed to the ethics commission. Then the ethics commission gave it to POC. Then POC, since it's about behavior or conduct, this was given to ethics committee. And then after that, the executive board approved the recommendation of the ethics committee. Now, what's next? The next step will be the General Assembly. So we'll be waiting for that. And all of this, we've communicated this to SEA Games Federation, OCA, Asian Federation of World Athletics, IF, Athletes Commission of the IOC, and the IOC itself, the NSA Affairs. So everything was were furnished of that what transpired. So good thing at nagbigay ng windong patapa for the liquidation. So the first move should come from them.
Okay. So
it's a chess game, it's a play game. First move sa kanila.
So
Ba't naman
instead
sa
of
amin, it just acted on the complaint.
yeah, so you're just going to let the process of the liquidation go through, sir. And then
Yes.
with regards to the decision of your ethics committee about Mr. Wico being a persona non grata, you're going to take that up in the General Assembly. Is that
Yes,
correct?
you'll stand on that decision of the executive board.
Okay, before Quinito asks his first question, what about the request of the Philippine Sports Commission that everybody come to the table to discuss with them to try and resolve this issue? How do you feel about that, sir? Are you going to participate?
Did Mr. EJ agreed to that or
He did.
in liquidation?
Well,
Hindi ko
syempre
naalala ang
una yung
statement.
liquidation.
Yes.
Oo. Una yung liquidation, and then he
Liquidation.
said he's willing to sit down with all parties concerned to hopefully come to a resolution to this. Kasi
Yeah,
gusto
but
pa niyang
as of
lumaban para
today-
sa Pilipinas.
Yeah, as of today, we stand on the decision of the ethics committee and the executive board.
All right. Quinito?
Good evening, Congressman. And
Yes, good evening.
So happy to see you. Happy New Year po.
Happy New Year
Unfortunately, this New Year has not been blessed so far with
Yeah.
good news. Itong nangyayari
That's right.
kay EJ at saka sa Patafa. Ang unang question ko sa inyo is, can the POC override Patafa's refusal, if it continues to refuse, to allow EJ to represent our country in international competitions?
I think there was no refusal pa. It's just EJ is being dropped in the national pool. Okay, that's very clear. And remember, even in the charter of a PSC, the POC is defined there as the sole authority. And with that, the POC will invoke the Olympic Charter provision that the NOC has the exclusive authority in representation of the respective countries at the Olympic Games, in regional games, continental, and all world multi-sports competition patronized by the IOC. Napaka-clear. The selection, of course, the proposed delegates are coming from the NSA.
Right.
But the NOC submits all these delegates to the organizing committee. Ang laging may authority, the NOC. So, pwede namin i-invoke yun because under the IOC charter, the delegates are not only based on sports merits or performance. It can also be based on if it's an example it will serve as an example to the youth of the country. Meron yun may provision na yun na gano'n. So with that, the NOC can still endorse. Ang tanong lang po dito, who will bankroll if you are dropped from the national pool? Who will bankroll your day one training starting today? If it's kung na-drop na siya ngayon, who will bankroll the allowances training up to the next competition, whether it's Asian Indoor, SEA Games, Asian Games, or even qualifying for Olympics. That's the only the big question. So the answer for that, the POC will look for private funding, definitely, for that purpose. Since we have already, so itong term ko, naggawa na kami ng policy sa POC na there will be Group A and Group B delegates. Group A are those funded by the government through PSC. Group B are those funded by the private entities. But in case they nag-podium sila, the government definitely will reimburse and give the incentives given by the government. That's our deal. So
Sa
with that,
makatuwid.
yes.
Sa makatuwid, Congressman,
Sorry?
sa makatuwid, Congressman, yung pagkasabi ho ninyo, even if EJ is dropped from the national roles, it does not mean that he will not be able to represent our country. He can still represent our country through the IOC, even if he's dropped from the national roles of PATAFA. Totoo ho yun.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember Quinito, sa Olympics nga merong nagpaparade, merong lumalaban na refugee. Wala namang nire-represent sa
Tama.
country yun at saka
Yeah.
NOC. And last Olympic yung Russia, they did not
Russia.
represent Russia
That's true.
because they were banned, ano? Pero this is a different story, I know. That is also different story yung sa kanila. Pero citing that, parang kaya, this is a test case. Pero ilalaban namin, no? Ilalaban namin. Merong sabihin nila, no, it's not endorsed by the NSA. Yes, but the final authority is coming from the hindi naman po NSA nagsasubmit sa SEA Games Federation kung sino yung delegates. Kami nagsasubmit sa kanila, sinasubmit namin sa PSA for funding purposes. Then
Right.
ultimo nga pati mga kasama kung sino yung mga staff, kami rin nagsasubmit. Simple as that, no? So
Congressman.
with this,
Yeah.
papayagan kaya ng ano, I don't think na hindi papayagan ng IOC or SEA Games or Asian Games
Totoo ho yun. Totoo.
number 1 athlete ng Asia. Gusto rin nilang makita
Yeah.
yung number 1.
Second question ho, which is very related to that first question. Nabanggit po nyo that you are now in communication as far as this issue is concerned with the IOC, with the OCA, the IF, the Asian Athletics Federation. Ano ho ang reaction nila? Especially when PATAFA came out with a statement that they are terminating the services of a legendary, so much in demand, Ukrainian pole vault expert in Vitaly Petrov. Parang we've become a laughing stock. It's very hard to get Petrov to agree to be a coach to a pole vaulter. Nakuha po natin, tapos ngayon, pakakawalaan natin. Para yata pagtatawanan tayo. Ano ho ang reaction?
Ang galing mo magtanong, Quinito, ano? Hindi ko talaga di-divulge yung reaction, but in a one word, the reaction was very positive. Pero yung isang baka pangit pakinggan, harsh word. So sa akin na lang muna yun kung ano yung reaction.
Okay.
Pero there was a positive reaction and good for Mr. Obiena.
Yeah. So you've actually have had communication with the World Athletics Body, and the competitions that you are talking about na pwedeng ang mag-sign up kay EJ is the POC, the NOC, Philippine Olympic Committee, is the SEA Games and the Asian Games and the Olympic qualifying tournaments. Correct, sir?
Yes. Merong especially SEA Games. SEA Games is just a friendly, kung tutusin, regional friendly games amongst us, no? And also Asian Games. Remember, EJ is number 1 in Asia. So,
Yes.
siguro naman gusto rin po ng organizing committee na makita kung talagang gano'ng kagaling si EJ.
Yes.
Sa Asian Games naman, kung may nakatago ang China or Japan or what, siguro gusto na nilang makalaban si EJ kung talagang to prove, di ba? How the number one in Asia. So I don't think na merong obstacle on those games, no. Meron silang sinasabi na it is run by the World Athletics, yung what's it, yung tournament, no, the athletics per se. So ang sinasabi ko nga, pag in-invoke namin yung IOC charter, that the NOC has the final, the authorized and have the authority to select. Ang tanong lang naman, hindi siya kasama sa national, hindi naman pinag-uusapan yung national pool sa Olympic or sa SEA Games or sa Asian Games. National pool is only for the funding.
Right, for the allowance given
the
by the
allowance.
Philippine Sports Commission.
I
Yeah,
myself can fund
actually,
him.
yeah. Actually, I spoke to EJ yesterday and the day before also when the news broke out, and one of the things that actually relieved him was your statement that you're going to fight for him and really find a way for him to continue to compete in the SEA Games, which he's almost surely going to win a gold, right? And then
Definitely.
in the Asian Games, because I mean he has a tremendous chance because he's the top Asian, the only Asian to qualify in the finals of the Tokyo Olympics. And I was asking him about these other tournaments na dapat niyang salihan starting na January 28 if he's in shape kasi he's not in shape na nga because of all this distraction, no? Yung ibang tournament kasi, sabi niya, yung European Indoor Circuit that's supposed to start January 28 in Germany is usually by invitation. And then sabi niya, because by virtue of his having jumped the third highest, imagine Quinito, third highest in 2021, 5.93, he's almost surely to get invited, right? So that's the good news. Pero
Yes.
syempre, and yeah, and yours, yes, go ahead, sir.
Sinabi mo, Diana, by invitation. So, siguro, ang in-invite naman yung athlete, not the NSA.
Yes. I was trying to clarify that with him.
Yeah, being in a national pool, hindi affect. Hindi naman pwedeng by invitation if you're in the national pool. Hindi naman ganun eh. You're being invited because you're number 3, number 4, number 5.
Right. And of
Simple
course,
as
they're
that.
trying to push the sport of pole vault in Asia, and he's the face of Asia in pole vault. Kasi, syempre, he has the highest ranking. Actually, yeah, go ahead,
The only
sir.
problem here in January 28 is how prepared EJ is, no?
Yeah.
With this all of these issues mentally, of course, number one, is he ready to compete on this coming January 28 in Germany? And how can he focus on the training? Kung
Very difficult.
Naman,
Yeah.
ibigyan mo na naman ng bagong problema for liquidation. And pwede pa, liquidation, pati yung mga kontrata sa kanya hahanapin. Ba't naman siya magtatago ng kontrata between the NSA and the coach?
Yeah. Sir, hopefully maayos, no? Hopefully with this mediation, hopefully things can work out. Pero just in case, no? Like, we don't know how long it's gonna take. Siyempre, he's incurring expense. Ang sabi niya sa akin when I talked to him yesterday, ironically, it's actually Vitaly who's helping him out financially aside from other patrons who are, helping out. But sabi, siyempre, it costs a lot to travel to all those tournaments. Sir, will you, if this is not resolved like right away, the Philippine Olympic Committee will immediately try to find sponsors para matuloy-tuloy ang kanyang training, especially for the Asian Indoor, which is in March. And will you also pay for Vitaly Petrov?
100%. I look for private funding for that.
Wow. That's good news.
That's good news, Congressman. My next question naman, Congressman, and again, pardon my hoarse voice. It's not the first time that PATAFA has driven a wedge between their organization and an Olympic athlete. Si Mary Joy Tabal, nagkaroon na ng konting gusot between siya at saka yung PATAFA. What could be the root cause of this problem involving this same NSA? And how could this be averted for the future. So we learn from this.
Well, we're talking of course, the advocacy of IOC. One of the advocacies of IOC is the good governance, no, within the sports. So, kung nangyari na pala before, siguro, it's time for PATAFA to calibrate or to think enough na siguro. Eto na, baka ano na yan, attitude problem or what. So, dapat mag-isip din kung pagbigyan naman yung ibang capable of leading the organization, the NSA, sa pwede naman mag-retire na, may legacy na or what, di ba? Pero kung ang legacy puro not in good situation, sayang, no? Sayang yung organization. Sayang din yung mga would-be sponsors na gusto sanang mag-sponsor sa kaso.
Congressman,
Pag ganyan yung lahat sa loob, how?
Oo nga ho. Congressman, PATAFAS refused to recognize the jurisdiction of the Ethics Commission. Is this correct? I mean, can an NSA under the umbrella or within the family of the POC just arbitrarily refuse to recognize jurisdiction of a duly authorized body by the POC, like the Ethics Commission, which acted on the basis of a protest coming from the Athletes Commission? Pwede ba yun? And what sanctions can be done against an NSA that refuses to toe the line, being part of the family?
Hindi talaga pwede yun. Kaya after the GA, ma-elevate talaga yan on higher level. So doon natin malalaman kung sinong tama. If not NOC ang magsa-sanction or what, kung non-jurisdiction, wala na kaming maisip. Alam nga naman DOJ, alam nga naman PNP. You're under on that organization, bakit hindi ka? Di ba? So, wala. So, get out on that organization kung ayaw magpa-under sa on your mother, di ba?
Well, we have 5 more minutes to go, Dyan. If I may, my last question before Dyan finishes this very exciting program is, what do you know of Jim Lafferty? He has been declared a persona non grata by PATAFA, and even the mother of EJ has been dragged into this mess. Parang kahiya-hiya naman na all of this dirty linen is being hung out to dry by an NSA that is supposed to be a bastion of good governance.
Sobrang naman yun, no? Kahit naman yung hindi naman dapat kasama, wala naman transaction sa PATAFA. So what's the sense, di ba? Parang ganun na baka yung thinking. Talagang pinakikita natin yung attitude, yung character, no? Yung behavior. So ganun na ba? I thought you are all educated and sportsmen. Pero bakit ganun? Pang bigat, ang hirap magsalita ng we're now focusing on Beijing and Winter Olympics and Winter Olympics,
SEA Games.
then SEA Games.
SEA Games in May, yeah.
Winter Olympics, that will be. I just had a meeting with the IOC yesterday. Ang ganda-ganda ng preparation ng Beijing, no. 96 hours, 72 hours, twice test every day. Yung bubble nila, there will be no loopholes. If you are tested positive, you will be isolated sa hotel dedicated. Pag asymptomatic, pag symptomatic, dedicated hospital. After 3 days, pag negative na, back to the area. Pero pag wala, 10 days ka doon, then maganda, no?
Mhm.
Pinakita nila yung handa talagang tuloy. Ang tanong na lang kung may flight going to Beijing.
Yun nga. Yeah.
Okay, Hen,
Sir,
your last question.
before we let you go, I know the Omicron variant is like going crazy in the Philippines right now, but as you say, we are focused on the Southeast Asian Games in May. So, sir, tuloy na ba? Tuloy na ba ang sigurado ang SEA Games? And how are we going to, I guess this is going to be like a little bit of a setback for our athletes in terms of their preparation kasi ngayon, medyo ingat muna, di ba? So, anong masasabi nyo, sir, for the...
Yeah. Preparation will continue dapat dun sa level 2. So, sa level 3, depende yun sa LGU. Pero mas sure na siguro, dun na sila magtuloy sa level 2, like Baguio, outside the NCR. And the MVP Sports Foundation gave POC 500 doses of Moderna for booster shots for SEA Games bound, no? Tomorrow.
Yes, I saw that.
Tomorrow. So
yes,
that would be a great
I saw
help for those who have no booster shots pa. No? May laban sayang, may laban tayo. We're defending champion, so we're all excited and SEA Games kahit may sacrifice lang na hindi makakaboto yung iba.
Congressman, alam ko magaling ka magbilang kasi nung Olympics, binibilang mo talaga yung medal. I remember months before. So ano ba yung fearless forecast nyo para sa SEA Games and sa Asian Games natin, given the situation that we're in?
SEA Games, medyo uphill battle yung mahirap habulin yung overall. No? Kasi kinapos nga tayo ng training. Unless na talagang gigil na itong mga atleta natin, hindi, babawi kami, bubuhos namin dito sa Vietnam. Pero Vietnam, I don't think na papatalo. Pero we will try. No? Not that bad before na 6, 7, 8 placing. That's tayo sa top.
I just want to interrupt, Sir Kong. Here is a message from EJ Obiena himself. I have reason to believe the athletes were coerced to show support for Rico and Rufus. Does POC have power to investigate whether those signatures were real or just scanned signatures used without their knowledge?
Yeah,
this is coming from EJ Obiena. He's watching us right now live.
That's given. That's given. Whether it was the signature was used, pero alam na ng citizen and netizen kung sinong tama dito. So, let it be that way. Kami move on. We follow the procedure. The ethics committee gave the recommendation. The executive board, 11 out of 14 to abstain, 1 absent. Ako pa nag-preside. Approve. Then, scheduled General Assembly. Doon makikita natin kung talagang sustain yung decision ng executive board. Then after that, we're gonna elevate it to the upper level. So stick kami sa POC decision kasi yung complaint is about the behavior, the conduct of an officer under the POC and member of the POC. So
pahabol ko because
on other issues, liquidation, etc. Sila na yun. Labas na kami doon, other issues.
Pahabol po, Kong, because of the question of Dyan. You are the man with a magic touch.
Yeah.
Sa SEA Games 2019, overall championship, Tokyo Olympics, 5 medals, first time nagkaroon ng Olympic gold medal. So, but this SEA Games, sabi nga niya is an uphill climb. Walang obstacle course, walang skateboarding, walang arnis. So, maraming mawawala ng mga gold-rich.
That's gold 30, more than 30 medals na agad, nawala.
More than 30 mo, nagbilang na,
More than 30,
nagbilang din. At yung squash, nawala. Sayang yung squash. Meron tayo
walang
sa squash. Anyway, here's a note from EJ's mother. that was Edward Obiena po, the father of EJ. So it was not
Not
EJ who
EJ.
sent the message.
Yeah.
It was Edward
Okay.
Obiena. So just want to make that clarification.
Eh,
So-
let baka yung katotohanan, the truth will come out, no? Pag baka may pumalag dun sa gumamit ng signature, but di lalong napakalaking issue no? Pag lumabas yung katotohanan.
So with all those situations sa SEA Games, Kong, do you feel that a top 3 finish is doable?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Top three.
Okay.
Sir, how many goals are your target for the Asian Games?
Yun ang may...
Asian Games, no?
Yes, I'm sure he's already thought that far.
Heidelin will be there. Yuka will not be there. And Bianca...
Yuka will not be representing the Philippines na in the
sa
Asian Games.
Hindi na, bawal na eh. Pag na-pro ka na, bawal na. You can
Ay,
only
nga pala,
in Olympics. But we still have... hindi na natago eh. Nilabas na eh. Nilabas na ng golf yung mga magagaling natin. No? Hindi na, akala ko itatago namin eh. So, lumabas na sina Maligsi,
Oo.
and boxing. Of course, boxing.
So aside from Heidelin, boxing, you're expecting goals from boxing, no?
Yes.
Super ganado yung mga boxers, lalo't binigyan nyo ng mga bagong bahay sa Tagaytay.
And
Ang
other
ganda.
martial arts sports. I think na rin sila. Gigil na rin sila. And Obiena, of course, Obiena and Julo, I think. No? Obiena and Julo, kaya nila yun.
Oh yes, Kaloy Yulo, yeah. Babawa yan sa Asian Games.
So
Well,
I think kaya nating masurpass yung we'll pray for that, yung 4 golds ng ng Asian Games. Parang we'll also praying for Jonas and Yumir. They have a fight this coming kailan ba yan? Parang March, no? March.
Si Jonas Sultan.
Yeah, si Jonas Sultan at saka si Yumir.
Bago ho yun. Dedepensa ho si Jerwin Angcahas, February 3. Tapos lalaban ho si Magsayo. January 22. Marami yung lalaban.
Kaya nasabi ko yung March
Tuloy.
si Jonas at saka si Yumir. Kasi nakita ko yung dalawa nagte-training. Kasama rin Cavite.
Nice.
By the way, we have another clarification. Yung po nag-message kanina is Edward Obiena, who is the uncle of EJ. Because ang father niya is Emerson.
Okay.
Emerson ang father niya. So, just the same, we're happy that with our live audience, we're getting comments from everyone interested in this very controversial situation that we know Congressman Bambol Tolentino, because of his magic touch and leadership, will see us through the most difficult times. Maraming salamat, Kong Bambol.
Nakalimutan ko, no? We will provide all the top lawyers for EJ in case there will be a staff case filed against him. And I don't think a staff of cases will be filed by who owns the money, and who owns the money is the government. So the government, I don't think the government will file a case of staff with EJ.
Yeah, well, EJ said that the lawyers that are helping him now are all doing it pro bono. So he's very thankful to them and very thankful to you. And Kong, I hope that this will not be the last time that, we hope that Quinito and I will be able to talk to you here on PlayitRight TV. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and anytime you have anything that you'd like to let our sporting world know, we're always here. Thank you so much. More power. God bless and stay safe, sir.
Thank you, and God bless.
Till the next time.
Thank you, Kong. Thank you, Kong.
All right. Thank you for joining us in another live episode of PlayitRight TV. Quinito and I will be back again with the greatest on the latest in sports. I'm Dyan Castillejo.
This is Quinito Henson.
And we are here to play it right.
Always.